All right, what's up? We are with Jordan Wilkins with Benchmark Physical Therapy. She is a doctor of physical therapy, and also Benchmark Physical Therapy is a platinum sponsor for Fittest of the Coast this year, and we are excited to partner with them. And we thought, hey, let's bring Jordan on, hear a little bit about what she does and what Benchmark Physical Therapy is all about. So, Jordan, thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, Kyle, thanks so much for having me. We're definitely excited to be a platinum partner with Fittest of the Coast. We're new to the Charleston area as a company over the last couple of years, so it's going to be great to finally get out and do an event now that it's safe enough to do so. And the CrossFit community in Charleston already has been so fantastic to me as an individual. It's great to be able to give back.
Absolutely. So let's get to it. Benchmark Physical Therapy. Tell me a little bit about your company and how you started with Benchmark.
Yeah, so Benchmark has been around since the mid 90s. 1995 is when the first clinic developed in Ottawa, Tennessee. And it has grown to become one of the largest outpatient physical therapy brands in the country. Our family name is Upstream Rehab, and there's multiple companies and clinics that are underneath that umbrella. We have about 350 clinics nationwide. Benchmark, our brand name ourselves, we're primarily in the Southeast. So there's not too many states in the South where you won't see us. We are new to Charleston. Our first Charleston clinic opened in 2019. That's in our Hanahan location. My clinic is the Johns Island Bees Ferry, kind of on the Savannah Highway and towards Hollywood Ravenel. So I'm more on the outskirts. And then our downtown location opened last year as well. And we have 3 other clinics that are going to open this year. We've got West Ashley, Cainhoy on kind of the Daniels Island location, and then Mount Pleasant as well.
Wow.
I've been with Benchmark for 2 years. I've been a practicing therapist for almost 5. I graduated from the Medical College of Georgia in 2016. Coming out of school, I worked in the hospital setting for a while, and then came to work for Benchmark about 2 years ago exactly. I did a clinical rotation with them and just loved the opportunities that they provide new therapists. They're very encouraging and provide a lot of opportunity for growth as far as developing clinical skills, but also a leadership role, which is what brought me back. Started as a float therapist in our Savannah market, and then moved to Charleston around this time last year to open up the Johns Island Bees Ferry Clinic. COVID kind of delayed things a little bit. We were supposed to open in March of last year, and then we pushed it to June, and things have been fantastic considering everything that's been going on within the last year. The Charleston community has been very welcoming to us as we moved in, which we appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the one thing, you touched on it, I think twice or 3 times talking about the community being welcoming. We do have a very special community, and I think it's awesome. And I know I'm excited for everybody to come back together in April. It almost will be like a family reunion of sorts, people coming together. So excited about that. Tell me a little bit. So you obviously, your more locations are opening. Now, are you going to be overseeing those locations? How does that relationship work from your standpoint?
Yeah. So each clinic is its own LLC. Each clinic has its own budget, its own clinic director, which kind of runs and manages the clinic. I'm the clinic director for Johns Island Bees Ferry, and then Hanahan has its own clinic director, and so on and so forth. But we work together as a team. Kind of the next rung in the ladder is regional vice president, and her name is Leah Woods, and she's over our Charleston market as well as our Savannah market. So she kind of goes back and forth, and she's responsible for overseeing each clinic opening and kind of the next line of defense, so to speak. So each clinic's kind of left to manage itself, working under the umbrella of the larger company.
Gotcha. So how does how did you get into and how'd you get interested in becoming a doctor of physical therapy? What was it that kind of attracted you?
Yeah. So I was an athlete growing up, played softball and basketball, which every athlete has an injury of some sort at one point in time in their career, and just really loved the personal connection that you get as a PT. I mean, I get to spend an hour or a little more 2 to 3 times a week with my patients, which is more than a lot of their other healthcare providers have the opportunity to do. So I know all about their families. I know their dog's name, where their kid goes to school. And I just love that personal connection that you get with everyone, especially moving to a new city. I mean, that's where I've learned a lot about Charleston is from just the patients that I have, where to go eat, where not to go eat, when to avoid this area with traffic patterns. So just the more community aspect for physical therapy while still, helping people get back to living the life that they choose to live and helping to empower them. And that's kind of part of our mission at Benchmark is to empower patients. We don't just have you come in and give you a set of exercises and say, do these, and then you're good to go. Each patient has an individualized plan for them, but we also give you education so that you feel you take ownership in your care, that you ultimately get better faster when you care about what's going on in your life and applying that later on as well.
Yeah, and you said being a former athlete, you mentioned how getting injured, you get to spend some time with PTs, and I can relate to that. So I played collegiately. I played collegiate football and tore my ACL twice. So I spent a lot of time with the PTs, and you do what you said. You do generate a relationship with them. They see you at your worst. Have you had a patient or story, a unique story yet that stands out to you as far as what you've been able to do for somebody? I'm sure you have many, but is there one that stands out?
I have a lot. So I myself, I have my fair share of athletes that come through, but I also treat more of neurological populations. So I get a lot of patients with Parkinson's and with strokes, and that's one of the most fulfilling parts is to see someone, like you said, on their worst day. They just had surgery. They, a couple weeks out of a stroke, and their life doesn't make sense to them anymore. Their life isn't their own. And then you work with them for months and months. And I've had a patient say, I have my life back. Mm. And that's one of the most rewarding things as a therapist is for someone to say, hey, you helped me get my life back. And patients like to say, you did this. And I have to tell them, no, I mean, I give you the tools. You're the one that has to come in and put in the work. But I think I don't think there's any one particular incident, but I see it every day. Patients come in and they don't want to be there. They think that therapy causes more pain, and just giving them a new outlook on how therapy isn't just now. Therapy is a lifelong thing. I have patients that I've treated for years or who just call to check in. We want to be that lifetime partner with you. You don't have to come see me 3 months out of the year, but we're there if you need us.
Yeah, and definitely, you guys as PTs, you guys definitely see people at their worst, but you also help bring people through those moments, I'm sure. And I know for me, when I was going through my multiple times recovering from ACL surgery, that moment when I could run again, it was like my life was back. Because
right.
As an athlete, not being able to run and having that taken away from you, but when through the help of PTs, that was some of the most exciting moments. So I'm sure you see that a lot. Jordan, tell me a little bit. You're new to the Charleston area. Where do you do CrossFit? Where do you work out at?
So I am a member at Angel Oak CrossFit on Johns Island. We're off of Maybank, and Megan Flora is the owner and the head coach. And I just remember my husband and I, we were up here just kind of looking around the area to figure out where we wanted to live. And I remember dropping in at Angel Oak, and it was just me and one other person. A lot of times that's intimidating for people, but Megan and Kelly, they make it so welcoming. It doesn't matter if they've met you for the first time or if it's someone that they've known from the beginning. Your family to them. If they don't see you for a few days, they're calling to check in to make sure that something crazy hasn't happened to you. And I think especially, moving to a new city with COVID, it's hard to meet people. And what meant more than anything is they made sure that we stayed all connected as a community. We did virtual bingo nights on Fridays. We did our trivia nights. That's what we did. We had little challenges through Wi-Fi Rise just to keep, just little nitpicky, fun things to do throughout the week to stay connected as a community. I'm sure other gyms did this as well. They rented out equipment so people could still work out at home and did home workouts with us through Zoom. So it was nice that we were able to find a community before everything shut down. And it just kind of made us appreciate the community that much more, that even though we were new to the area, they made us feel like we were, members for the past 3 years.
Yeah, actually, I saw Angel. I don't know if you know anything about this, but I saw on social media, it was either after some of the craziness of the pandemic, but y'all did some sort of thing on the weekend, like a beer Olympics type of thing.
Yeah, we did a field day. It looked so much fun.
Cool. I think I commented and be like, I wish I could be there doing that. It looks so fun.
We had so much fun. It's a smaller space, but the community, it's huge. But yeah, we were able to get outside and, just enjoy being together finally in the open air. And we had a lot of fun. Yeah,
it looked like it. So had you done CrossFit before moving to Charleston?
Yes. So I've been doing CrossFit about 3 years now. Started in Savannah and it's been going great.
And so what has attracted you to this style of fitness? And what about it do you like?
So I've tried I've tried multiple avenues of exercise. I've done Pure Barre before, Zumba, Orange Theory. Again, as a PT, it's nice to, try different avenues of exercise because how you treat a CrossFit athlete is completely different than how you treat someone who wants to get back to doing yoga or, a marathon runner. So it's nice to have that experience yourself kind of doing those different types of exercise. But CrossFit, it's functional movement. It's something that everyone needs to be able to do. As a baby, you can squat to full depth. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure where in our evolutionary line we stop squatting to full depth. But I have my older patients come in every day and they can't squat down to tie their shoes, or they can't carry the groceries in. New moms who have pain carrying their baby up a flight of stairs. They're like, I have to move because I can't go up and down the stairs with the baby. I need a bedroom on the first floor. That shouldn't be something that we as a human being should ever have to worry about. We should be able to functionally be able to do basic things like carry our child up a flight of stairs. And I like that part of CrossFit is that it enforces that. I think a lot of medical professionals squatting, deadlift, anything heavy overhead as a bad thing. And I like how CrossFit has, kind of taken that and run with it. We are able to teach you how to safely move heavy objects that carry over into your everyday life.
Yeah. And, obviously with anything, you do run the risk of injury in any sort of physical activity. Right. Not just CrossFit. I think CrossFit gets a bad rap for that, but it's anything, overuse. Yeah. Just, this, you're a PT, overuse with a certain joint or whatnot, that can be something. But tell me a little bit about what you see from an injury standpoint from a CrossFit athlete, and maybe some things that you've seen that people should be doing to prevent these injuries from happening.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think CrossFit had got a bad rap for a long time in the healthcare world. And that's partially why I stayed away from it as long as I did, because that's just what you hear coming through PT school. Like you said, anything, if you're not properly trained or properly coached through something, you can get injured. Research is looking at the different types of youth sports. Your child has a higher risk of getting injured playing football or soccer or cheerleading versus Olympic and powerlifting if they are properly trained and coached. A lot of what I see, it's not those traumatic injuries. It's not a blown rotator cuff or a herniated disc. It's tendonitis in the shoulder, some soreness in the back, upper trap, neck tightness, headaches type stuff, more tension type injuries. And a lot of that's due to just muscle imbalance. I think athletes who do a lot of heavy lifting, especially Olympic lifting, they want, big upper traps, quads that stand out. And those muscles are great, but those are your big mover muscles. It's important to work on those smaller accessory stabilizer muscles. Not so much the muscle that's going to get the barbell overhead, but what's that muscle that's responsible for holding it up there doing? I think we focus a lot on shrugs, upper trap, deltoid. And we forget about mid trap, lower trap, rotator cuff. That is accessory work gets a little left behind. And I think that's important. And that's something that PT can help out with. All of our clinics offer free screening. So as soon as you start to feel that kind of naggy, achy, something doesn't feel quite right when I'm lifting like it used to, give a PT a call on any of our benchmark locations. You can find on the website, one that's closer to you. Give us a call, say, hey, I want to come by and chat about this shoulder thing I have going on when I lift overhead. We'll kind of chat with you and decide if it's something that we need to schedule a more kind of official one-on-one evaluation to really dig in there to figure out what's going on. You don't need a doctor's referral to see physical therapy. So you don't have to wait to go see your primary care, to go see the orthopedic. You can just give us a call. And at Benchmark, we pride ourselves on getting patients in within that day, if not, at the latest the next day. Because we don't want pain to be a reason you're not doing what you like to do.
Yeah.
The sooner you can get that treatment and the sooner we can establish a plan to get moving forward, the better you're going to be. We don't want it to develop into a more chronic problem that could in turn result in one of those bigger injuries. If you let that nagging shoulder pinching go on, over time, wear and tear, you may have a full-blown rotator cuff that could have been prevented if addressed earlier on in when the symptoms started.
Yeah, I think that's what you see a lot with athletes in general, that the ability, hey, I'm just, if something hurts maybe a little bit, I'm just going to kind of fight through it, but that's not always the best idea. What are your thoughts on just regular maintenance body work for athletes? And you hear that terminology now that, hey, I'm just going to get regular maintenance done from a PT or from a massage therapist and acupuncturist. What are your thoughts on that? And is that a good path for athletes?
I think it is if it's done the right way. If you're getting massages or taping, dry needling, Theragun type work, but you're not doing any accessory strengthening or accessory mobility to fix the problem, that's where I think we run into an issue. Those passive modalities, so to speak, dry needling is great. I dry needle every day. But I tell my patients, we're using this to relieve your symptoms, to help reduce your pain, but it makes exercise better for you to tolerate. Dry needling, massage, it's not going to fix a problem. That's where mobility, exercise, appropriate exercise comes into play. So, we want to make sure that we're addressing the core, the back, rotator cuff, neck flexors, and not just Theragunning it out so that we're not quite so sore the next day.
That's really interesting. So tell me a little bit about dry needling. I've never had it done. What you just said was that you do it every day. Do you do it yourself, or do you? So you do it to yourself every day?
Oh, no, not every day. No, I do it with patients. Or pretty much every day I have a patient that I do dry needling with.
Okay. Yeah. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so dry needling, it's people kind of correlate it with acupuncture, but it's completely different. The the needles themselves are the same. They're those tiny monofilament needles. We're not injecting anything at all, but it's based on active trigger points. So those knots that you get, and you can just hold on them, and it's that hurts so good pain, but it radiates kind of up and down. We insert that needle into the trigger point, and so to speak, that muscle just kind of grabs onto it, so to speak, and you'll feel it. It'll tense up. You'll feel it twitch. Upper trap's kind of one of the ones that I needle the most, and that thing, it will radiate up into your head, down your back, into your shoulder. And what it's doing is knots in the muscle are fibers that aren't getting enough blood supply, whether that's due to your body trying to protect itself, or the upper trap, it's a strong mover muscle, so it's compensating for weaknesses that we have in middle trap, lower trap. But the needle goes in, it creates this inflammatory response, brings blood flow into the area, and it makes that muscle twitch to the point of fatigue so that that knot has to let go. Follow that up with stretching and exercise, and it helps with pain relief. You can get, if your trap is so tight that you can only lift your arm to here, a lot of times with needling, you'll be able to get it further up overhead, just kind of releasing that muscle tension. It also kind of resets. If you're people with chronic pain, it works really well for. After about 3 months, that's what we classify as chronic pain. The brain forgets what it's like to not be in pain. And that's not how anyone should live their life. The needling makes your brain think about something other than pain. It has to respond to this external stimulus in your muscle. So it kind of resets your entire nervous system. It's pretty cool. I mean, a lot of people, it makes you sore, just like exercise, because we are putting that muscle to fatigue.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things that some people I have to needle multiple times. Some people, it's a one and done thing. I'll needle them one day and they come back and their pain is gone. But it's just like anything, the needling isn't fixing anything. So we'll do needling a couple sessions, hit it with some exercise, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah. And what you said was, sometimes, and I've had this myself, where the upper back is just so tight and tense from maybe a day before doing a large volume of cleans, that there's sometimes where what you just said is I can't get that arm to full extension. So if someone was to come in to see you to reduce that inflammation, would they be able to work out that day, or do you typically say, hey, wait a day or two? How does that work?
I say, don't do heavy cleans, but if you want to go do some like empty barbell cycling, some rowing, you want to move it. You don't want to needle a muscle and then don't use it the rest of the day, because it's just going to seize back up again. Kind of like that active recovery.
Yeah, got it.
Stuff, just to get the blood circulating back into that new range that we just created.
Absolutely. So Jordan, you and your team, you're going to be on site at CrossFit Wando for Fittest of the Coast, April 10th and 11th. You guys are going to be there. You guys are also going to be providing some services as well. Can you talk a little bit about what, obviously, athletes are going to be working hard over the course of those 2 days. There are going to be some aches and pains probably leading up to it that they're going to have during the event. What are some things that you're going to be offering to athletes that they can come see Benchmark for?
Yeah, so all of our clinic directors in the Charleston market will be there at some point in time over the course of the 2 days. So no matter what area of Charleston you're living in, you'll get to meet your kind of community physical therapist with Benchmark. But we're going to have 2 massage tables set up, and we're just kind of there for what anyone needs. We'll do mobility. We'll have foam rollers, kind of stick rollers. We'll do taping. Kind of passive stretching, any mobility work that you need. A lot of our therapists, we're trained orthopedic specialists, very hands-on. So if you need a quick crack in your back just to loosen some, kind of mid-back before you do some overhead squats, we'll be right there for you. Also going to have some free benchmark swag to give away. We've got some koozies, sunglasses, hand sanitizer, which everyone needs right now,
Yeah. Yep.
chapstick, water bottles, Gatorade, little snacks, anything like that. Also for our Myrtle Beach and our Bluffton athletes that'll be there as well. We've got clinics in those areas as well. So you guys have any questions about those locations, we'll be able to provide you with that as well.
Awesome. Well, Jordan, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. I know if I have an ache or pain from all the work we're going to be doing over the weekend, I will come see you, no doubt about it.
Awesome.
Jordan, thank you for joining us, and it's been a pleasure, and we can't wait to see you in April.
Awesome. Thank you so much.